There was a man named Elias, ordinary in almost every way. He worked in a quiet office, in a city that hummed softly, but never fully woke. He lived alone, walked alone, and dreamed alone. But one night, something unusual happened. Elias dreamed of a hole. It was not a hole in the ground or in a wall, but a hole in time itself. Its edges shimmered faintly, as if stitched from light. And from inside it, he could hear a voice, not calling him, not commanding him, but whispering, "Look closer. You are not yet awake." When he woke, the feeling lingered. The hole had left a weight in his chest, like a key waiting to be turned. All day, he felt pulled towards something he could not see. The city streets seemed different, as though they were leading him somewhere, but he did not know where. That night, he returned to the dream. The hole was there, waiting. Beside it lay a small object, a clay box, plain and unassuming. It hummed softly, thrumming with a rhythm that matched his heartbeat. Elias opened it. Inside were miniature scenes, himself walking paths he had never walked, speaking words he had never spoken, meeting faces he did not know, but somehow remembered. It was his future, rendered in fragile clay, waiting to be discovered. He reached out to touch the scenes, and the moment his fingers brushed the clay, a jolt ran through him. Images spilled into his mind, the moments that could be, the choices not yet made, the small kindnesses that would ripple far beyond his sight. A life compressed into small, delicate fragments of possibility. And then a voice spoke. "This is what you might become, but only if you remember what matters." Elias woke with a start. The clay box was gone, but the memory of it lingered, as vivid as his own heartbeat. Over the next days, the world seemed quieter. The usual noises faded, replaced by whispers only he could hear. The sound of small acts unfolding into consequences, of moments stretching outward in ways invisible to ordinary eyes. He began to notice things he never had. A woman dropping a coin on the street, and a child smiling in response. A neighbor hesitating to speak, then sharing a word that lifted someone's burden. Every small ripple, every potential, weaving a future unseen. That night, he returned to the dream. The hole had grown. The clay box was now a table, a miniature city of his own life. Houses, streets, people, decisions, all waiting to be explored. He wandered through it, stepping carefully between possibilities, realizing that even a single choice could bend the future in ways he could not predict. The voice came again. "You are the keeper, the one who remembers, the one who acts." Elias reached for the largest building in the city, a tiny house he recognized immediately as his own. Inside, he saw himself older and wiser, laughing and grieving, loving and losing. And then he saw something startling. A figure at the window, watching him. A version of himself he had not yet become, waiting to guide him, waiting to remind him what truly mattered. He woke again, but this time he was different. The world outside felt quieter, not silent, but aware. Every sound carried weight. Every face seemed like a story he had never read. Even the wind whispered, rushing against him like a reminder. The clay box, though gone from his dreams, remained in memory. Its fragile form had left a residue in his mind, a map of possibility, delicate yet persistent. He began noticing things he had never seen before. The pattern of rain on a window, tracing lines that reminded him of old paths. The hesitation in a stranger's smile, hinting at a story untold. The weight of a single choice, pressing silently on the lives around him. One evening, he returned to the dream. The hole had expanded again, wider now, stretching like a horizon he could almost step into. The clay city had grown. Buildings multiplied, streets twisted in improbable angles, and countless tiny people moved through it, each one representing a life connected to his own, branching into infinite outcomes. Elias wandered through it slowly. Every footstep echoed like a question. What matters? What should I do next? He touched a miniature figure, himself, but older, sitting in a garden he had never planted. The figure looked up, eyes calm, and waved. Every small interaction rippled outward, shifting the miniature city with astonishing subtlety. A voice came again. Every life is fragile. Every choice matters. Do not take it lightly. He saw streets that mirrored moments from his past, opportunities he had ignored, friendships he had let fade, kindnesses he had failed to extend. And he saw streets that had never existed, possibilities waiting to be born. For the first time, he understood that the future was alive, not a line, not a plan, but a fragile, breathing sculpture. And he was both the creator and the witness. Hours, maybe days, passed in the dream. Elias began experimenting, small steps at first. He nudged a figure to smile at a neighbor. A tiny street lit up with laughter. He encouraged a clay child to speak up in class. The ripple passed through the miniature city like sunlight spilling over water. Every small act changed not just the tiny clay world, but somehow, he knew, his waking life as well. He began to see patterns. The smallest kindness could bend a future he could never fully predict. The smallest cruelty could leave fractures that echoed across time. And the most ordinary, overlooked moments, a word spoken, a hand held, could become profound. At one point, he saw a figure at the edge of the clay city, a version of himself he did not yet know. Older, quieter, wiser. It beckoned him, guiding his hand as he moved through the streets. Remember, it whispered, the future is fragile, but alive. Shape it. Elias woke once more. The clay city had vanished, leaving only the memory, but the lessons remained. He saw the people around him differently. He noticed details he had ignored for decades. The way a neighbor's hand trembled as they carried groceries, the half-forgotten joy of a child's laugh, the quiet desperation in a coworker's eyes. And he acted, slowly at first, subtly, holding doors open, saying words of encouragement, noticing when someone needed help, speaking honestly when he had avoided the truth. Each act felt small, almost insignificant, and yet he could sense the ripple. He could feel the weight of his choices stretching outward, touching lives in ways he might never see. Weeks passed. The dreams returned occasionally, but never the clay box. Instead, they came as whispers, soft nudges in the night, reminding him to notice, to act, to shape his days. And each time he listened, he found new possibilities. Roads he could take, relationships he could repair, passions he could pursue. One night, he dreamed of the whole again. It was vast now, a portal to an endless horizon of clay cities and miniature lives, each vibrating with potential. The voice spoke, softer than before. You do not carry the future alone. You carry its memory, its possibility, its hope. He realized the truth. The future is never buried. It waits in the choices we make, in the kindnesses we give, in the lives we touch. And it waits for those who are willing to notice, to remember, and to act. Elias awoke with the sun spilling across his room. He sat on the edge of his bed, quiet, alive, attentive. The world had not changed, but he had. He smiled softly. He did not need the clay box. He understood now that the future is not a distant place. It is here, in every breath, in every step, in every decision.